Without vision, you're just busy, not purposeful. See, the world will applaud your hustle. People will cheer for your grind. But let me ask you something real. What are you grinding for? What's the destination? Because motion without direction is just chaos. You can be running at full speed and still be going nowhere if you don't know where you're headed. That's why vision is everything. Vision ain't just a dream, it's a blueprint. It's a compass in the storm. It's what gets you up at 4 a.m. when the world is still sleeping. It's what keeps you going when you're tired, frustrated, and doubting everything. When you have vision, you're not just surviving the day, you're building the life. You see, some of y'all out here working hard, but you're exhausted not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too much of the wrong thing. You're burning fuel with no map. You're taking pride in being productive, but if you're not aligned with your purpose, then that productivity is empty. It's like building a house without knowing what kind of house you're trying to build. You just laying bricks, sweating, grinding. But where's the blueprint? Where's the vision? Vision gives your struggle meaning. It tells you why the pain is worth it. It shows you what's on the other side of sacrifice. That's why people with vision don't quit. That's why people with vision don't break under pressure. They bend, but they don't break, because when they close their eyes, they can see it, they can feel it. They've already been there in their mind, and now it's just about catching up in real life. Vision fuels discipline. Vision makes you say no to distractions. Vision gives you permission to walk away from good so you can wait for great. Some of you are asking why your life feels like a loop, why you keep going in circles, why you're tired but not fulfilled, and I'm telling you, it's because you don't have clarity. You're reacting, not creating. You're moving out of habit, not intention. You're living life on autopilot instead of designing it with purpose. You're checking off tasks, hitting deadlines, but deep down you're empty. Because you're climbing a ladder, but you don't even know if it's leaning on the right wall. When you get vision, when you truly see what you're here to do, everything shifts. You start walking with confidence. You stop guessing yourself. You stop needing people's approval because you've already approved yourself. You're not trying to fit into a box because your vision broke the box a long time ago. Now, you're not just waking up. You're rising. You're not just grinding. You're growing. You're not just chasing money. You're chasing meaning. You don't need motivation when you have vision, because vision is internal fire. Vision is the light that guides your next step even when the whole path ain't clear. Vision is the reason you show up when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when the results aren't instant, because you know it's coming. Confusion kills dreams faster than failure ever will. Failure can be a teacher, a stepping stone, a launch pad to greatness. But confusion keeps you standing still. Confusion makes you question if you should even take the first step. It clouds your mind, clutters your energy, and before you know it, you've spent months, or even years, thinking about the life you want instead of building it. That's the danger of confusion. It's not loud like failure, it's quiet like comfort. It creeps in, disguises itself as waiting for the right time, or doing more research. But really, it's fear dressed up as logic. It's hesitation pretending to be preparation. Some of you got dreams so big they scare you. That's okay, but instead of getting clear, you stay confused. You ask everybody else what they think. You listen to 10 different voices, and now you can't hear your own. You scroll social media and compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and then wonder why you feel lost. But let me tell you this. If you don't know what you want, you'll be manipulated by everything that looks good. If you're not clear on your mission, you'll chase every distraction that shows up dressed as opportunity. Confusion is the cousin of procrastination. It's what keeps you busy avoiding the real work. It tells you to wait until everything makes sense, when in reality, clarity comes through action. You don't find your path by thinking about it all day. You find your path by walking. Every step you take reveals more, but confusion makes you freeze, and while you're frozen, life keeps moving, opportunities pass. Momentum fades. Your dream stays locked up in the prison of indecision. You weren't born to stay stuck. You weren't created to stay in the gray zone. Deep down, you already know what lights your fire. You already know what makes your soul come alive. But confusion keeps you from trusting that knowing. It whispers lies like, "You're not ready. You need more time. What if you fail?" But I'm telling you, failure won't destroy you. But confusion will keep you from even trying. It'll rob you of the chance to rise. It'll convince you to play small when greatness is calling you to level up. When you're clear, you're dangerous. When you're clear, you're confident. When you're clear, you walk into a room and you don't need to explain yourself. The vision speaks. When you're clear, you stop wasting time, energy, money, and potential on things that don't align. You stop letting fear write your future. You stop giving your power away to doubt. You start building a life that reflects who you really are, not who you've been pretending to be for the sake of fitting in. Clarity begins where comfort ends. Most people don't lack dreams, they lack the courage to step outside of their comfort zone to chase those dreams with clarity. You want a better life, you want breakthrough, you want to know your purpose with crystal vision. Then understand this. Clarity won't come wrapped in comfort. It won't show up while you're playing it safe. It won't arrive while you're trying to please everybody, follow the crowd, and avoid every risk. Clarity shows up the moment you step into the unknown, the moment you say, "I'm done being stuck," and move, even when you don't feel ready. Comfort is the enemy of clarity because it numbs your hunger. When you stay comfortable, you stop asking big questions, you stop challenging yourself, you stop growing, you settle for good enough instead of reaching for great. You trade purpose for predictability. And deep down, that comfort zone becomes a cage. You may decorate it, justify it, call it being practical, but you know the truth, it's holding you back. Because the real you, the unstoppable you, is not meant to live small. The real you gets clear when you get real about the fact that comfort is costing you your calling. You can't have clarity if you're addicted to ease. You can't hear the whisper of purpose when all you're doing is drowning it out with distractions. Clarity is found in solitude. Clarity is born in struggle. It's forged in discipline, in silence, in sacrifice. It's what rises when you finally stop running from discomfort and start facing it head on. When you leave that relationship that's draining you. When you quit the job that pays the bills but kills your spirit. When you shut off the noise and sit still long enough to hear your inner voice. That's when clarity begins to speak. And make no mistake, clarity doesn't always feel good at first. Sometimes it breaks your heart before it builds your future. Sometimes it strips away everything fake so you can finally see what's real. It might isolate you. It might shake your world. But that's because it's aligning you. It's pulling you out of what you've tolerated and pushing you into what you were created for. And that kind of clarity, that's priceless. That kind of clarity is fire. It burns through excuses. It destroys confusion. It makes your yes louder and your no stronger. It gives you focus that cuts through chaos. It keeps you grounded when life gets noisy and everyone's opinion tries to drown out your truth. So if you're praying for clarity, stop asking for comfort. Start asking for courage. If you want to know what's next for you, take the step you've been avoiding. If you want to unlock the next level of your life, let go of the habits, people, and patterns that are keeping you small. Clarity doesn't come when you stay the same. Clarity comes when you change, when you challenge, when you commit. You can't chase everything. Focus creates freedom. One of the biggest lies society feeds you is that you have to do it all, be it have it all at once. But the truth is, greatness doesn't come from scattered energy. It comes from focused intention. The most successful people in the world didn't succeed because they chased 10 different dreams at the same time. They chose their lane, locked in, and gave it everything they had. Focus isn't about doing less, it's about doing what matters most with everything you've got. When you try to chase everything, you end up with nothing. You spread yourself so thin that your power gets diluted. You say yes to every opportunity because you're afraid to miss out, but in doing that, you miss out on the very thing that was meant for you. Focus means saying no to good things so you can say yes to the right thing. It's not easy. It takes discipline. It takes vision. But once you focus, once you zero in on that one thing that sets your soul on fire, everything begins to align. Focus is what gives your life structure. It's the filter that helps you cut through the noise. Every time a distraction comes your way, every time a new shiny opportunity pops up, focus asks, does this take me closer to my vision? If the answer is no, you let it go. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you build momentum. That's how you become unstoppable. When your mind is focused, your energy gets sharper, your work gets deeper, and your results get bigger. But here's the thing. Focus takes courage. It takes the courage to not follow the crowd. It takes the courage to be misunderstood. It takes the courage to go all in on one dream while the world is busy dabbling in 10. Most people stay busy so they don't have to face what matters. But you're different. You're not here to stay busy. You're here to be effective. You're not here to scatter your greatness across 100 little efforts. You're here to build something massive with one bold, clear, focused mission. And guess what? When you focus, you free yourself. You free yourself from comparison. You free yourself from overwhelm. You free yourself from the pressure to do everything and please everyone. Focus gives you clarity. It gives you peace. It gives you power. Because now, every action has purpose. Every step has direction. Every day becomes a brick in the foundation of your legacy. You're not reacting to life anymore. You're creating it. You're not chasing chaos. You're building a future with precision, intention, and fire. Define your why, or be controlled by distractions. Every single day, you're either driven by purpose or pulled by pressure. And if you don't know your why, if you haven't taken the time to lock in and define what you're doing this for and why it matters, you'll get swept away by everything that doesn't matter. See, your why is your anchor. It's what keeps you steady when the storms come. It's what keeps you grounded when the world tries to shake you. Without your why, you'll be busy, but you won't be building. You'll be moving, but you won't be making progress. The distractions are endless. Social media, opinions, doubts, deadlines, comparison, comfort. There's always something trying to pull your attention away from your greatness. But when your why is real, when it's deep enough, personal enough, powerful enough, it becomes your shield. It becomes your reason to say no when everything in you wants to say yes. It becomes the fire that burns through excuses. It becomes the clarity that silences confusion. Too many people out here are trying to live their best life without knowing why they even want that life. They say they want success, but can't define what success means for them. They say they want freedom, but haven't done the inner work to ask, freedom from what? Freedom for what? Your why isn't a slogan. It's not something cute you write in your journal once and forget. Your why is your soul's reason for showing up day in and day out. It's what gets you out of bed when the motivation is gone. It's what drives you to keep fighting when everything around you says quit. When you don't define your why, you become a puppet to everything external. You react instead of respond. You chase approval instead of purpose. You follow trends instead of truth. But when you own your why, you take your power back. You walk into rooms with confidence because you're not here to impress. You're here to impact. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align because your why keeps you locked in. It tells you where to go. It tells you who to trust. It tells you when to rest, when to push, when to pivot. And don't let anybody else define it for you. Your why is yours. It might be your family. It might be your future. It might be the pain you survived and promised you'd turn into purpose. Whatever it is, let it be real. Let it be raw. Let it be the thing you return to when life gets heavy, because life will test you. It will hit you hard, throw you off track, and flood your mind with doubt. But if your why is strong enough, nothing can shake you permanently. You may bend, but you won't break. You may stumble, but you won't stop. Because you're not just chasing a dream. You're being driven by a deeper reason that fuels your focus, sharpens your steps, and elevates your entire existence. Until you're clear, you'll keep settling for less. You'll keep accepting jobs that don't fulfill you, relationships that don't respect you, and routines that drain your soul. You'll stay stuck in cycles of almost, not quite, maybe next time, because you haven't made the decision to define what more actually looks like for you. You haven't gotten clear on what you deserve, what you desire, and what you're not willing to tolerate anymore. And let me tell you something. Uncertainty isn't neutral, it's dangerous. It keeps you passive. It keeps you quiet. It keeps you small. When you don't get clear, life doesn't wait for you to figure it out. It just keeps handing you the leftovers, whatever's convenient, whatever's easy, whatever someone else thinks you should take. And you, without clarity, you keep saying yes. Not because you want it, not because it's right, but because it's there. You keep settling, not because you're weak, but because you haven't drawn the line. You haven't said, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is where I'm going. Clarity is a declaration. It's power. It's the moment you stop drifting and start deciding. The moment you stop making choices based on fear and start making them from faith. When you get clear, your standards rise. You don't just let people treat you any kind of way. You don't just hop on every opportunity that knocks, you evaluate it. You ask, does this align with who I'm becoming? That's what clarity does. It gives you permission to stop settling and start selecting. And here's the hard truth. Sometimes settling looks safe. It's the path most people choose because it doesn't rock the boat. But deep down, you know when you're settling. You feel it in your energy. You feel it in your chest when you wake up dreading your day. You feel it when you're surrounded by people but still feel empty. That's not peace. That's the silence of a dream being ignored. But once you get clear, you can't unsee it. Once you know what you're made for, you can't go back to average. Getting clear forces you to confront what you've been avoiding. It forces you to ask yourself the hard questions. What do I really want? Who do I need to become to get it? What am I willing to let go of to make room for it? That kind of honesty is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because clarity won't just change what you chase, it'll change who you are while chasing it. It'll stretch you, discipline you, focus you. It'll force you to stop playing small. It'll ignite something inside of you that refuses to accept halfway, that refuses to settle for a version of life that's less than the one you were born to live.